Hello. Um, it's much that happened just now, but it's not coming yet. But I can feel and hear its movement going on, but it have not taken place yet, as it is in the spirit world that they create something for me. And it was for about 1 week ago. This is in some, you know that I don't know the date, but it is about October 2021. But it doesn't matter when it comes to the spirit world, because in the spirit world, in the kingdom of God, there is no time. God is not time, so it doesn't matter. It's for you, if you listen for, I hope for 2 or 3 years ago, in the future from now, that it's the same, exactly the same. Everything is like you listen just now today. So the time have not disappeared. It's just when you listen. That is when I'm talking. Even if I talk in another year, in another month, it's exactly today for you. And I wait for. I was out just now in my garden and took out some blankets for some plants, because maybe it's going to be snow when I wake up, or at least frost this morning that will come. And the moon is full, so it's very cold this night. And so it was for a week ago. I was in the shower, and when I am in the shower, the spirit is talking to me. I think it's because it's in those times when I am relaxed, when it's like God can be with me without any disturbing things, even if it's water running, but it's only he and me, so we can talk. It's doesn't need to be in a shower, but those places where you are really relaxed. Most of the time he speaks to me when I start to fall to sleep, or when I wake up. Just when I wake up, that's where I'm most relaxed. So for to hear God, you need to be relaxed and be in a place where you are not disturbed of any people. So you have to make a time for God in your life. Not like you running around and you say I have God with me, like that. It's not. It's that you make a space for you and Him, only you two, to sit and talk, and sit and hear God talking to you. So I understand that some people relax when they read the Bible, and then they can feel God's presence. That's also a relaxing moment. Only to be by yourself with God. And so it is when I take a shower, because I love to sit and have those warm water over me. And this time I heard that I should make like a dating ad and write down everything who I am, and like a dating ad. And when God is talking, He don't give me any details, so it's easy to think wrong, that we think in our earthly mind. We are pretty dumb, and but God, I think God understood that I was wrong thinking, so He make another way for me to understand. But so after the shower, I go on Facebook, and I wrote down in a post about me and what I'm looking for a man to come, and I was talking to the spirits, to those in God's kingdom, because I know now, and I hope some of you, all of you, of course, but at least some of you understand that they are around us, and they hear and see everything we do and say. And so I talk more than before. I talk very much out in the air. Before I knew they were around, but now I sit more, because I know they hear what I'm talking about. So as when I have done that post on Facebook, I say, if you want me to have a man in my life, then you need to push him to me, I say to them, because you can do so much more than me. When you are in the spirit world, and I need to have a man that is a spirit-filled man, that is close to God, then you can push him to me. And I don't know how it happened. I don't know how I come to suddenly. It was 2 days, and no man come forward on Facebook, and I hold it open also. So even if the man didn't was my friend, they could see it. And then suddenly, after 2 days, and nothing happened, it was something that told me that I don't know if someone talking to me, or I did it on my own. And it was now in October 20, about that. It's a big Israel event, and it's, I don't know what it's called this, but they place lots of fruit up in the ceiling and have like a feast for, I don't know, 1 week maybe. And I suppose that I saw that my friend in Israel, he that I was to visit him in his home 2016 on the West Bank out. It's Israel Samaritans that is about 800 people only in this religion, and that was also something strange, that I heard God is talking to me that I should go to Israel and take contact with this man. And I did. I pay those money, I pay the hotel because I obey what God is telling me. So I went to Israel, and it was outside Tel Aviv. I tried to get a hotel so close I could come to his city. The city's name is Holon, and there is many Israel Samaritan people that live there, and Benyamin Tsedaka, he is one of these more leading persons, because as I have seen that now when I study them a little more, that he is in those highest priest line. He is not the highest priest, but he have this line in him so he have translated their Torah to English, and he traveled around the world. So I have talked about this before, but it's very strange because I have not taken any contact with him before I come to Israel. And he could have been in United States, he could be in England, he could be any places. But that time he was at home. So I asked at the hotel to help me to call him. And they knew who he was. He's very famous. And they called him up, and he said that take a taxi and come to me, he said. So I was to his place. And I asked him if he could write my book about a book about my life, to help me to do this book. But he said to me that he laughed and he said that I have done the book of my life. It's my life most important book I have done, and I have translated our Torah into English, and it's very thick book, and he's selling that all over the world, and then he go and flying around in the world and speak about the book and speak about this little group of Israel Samaritans. So I write him and say that, can you find me a husband? And I am going to move to Israel. If you help me, I move to Israel and marry a man. I am too old to get any children, I say to him. And then I say to him, but I have 2 children they are not married, they are single, a boy and a girl. And the girl, of course, is the most interesting because she can give birth to kids for this group of people. So he say that write down a CV. A CV. I thought it should be like this, like I thought, like a dating ad for a man to read. But he say CV, and I say I don't work. But he wanted to know what I have done in my life, and I have not done much work. I have most of my life I have studied at the university. I have 2 degrees at the university. I have PhD in psychology, and I have not want to work. People go angry at me, and they don't understand that I don't want to work for people. I am a free person, and I have been like that my whole life. I have working like a normal job for people to get money from. I have working maybe 5-6 years my whole life, and then I have had my own business since 1990. So, and that is a work for myself. And then later on I come to work for God in 21 years, and I still are working for God. And that's not to put up on the CV. And so it was very hard for me to write it. But I did that. And then it was 2-3 days later, he wrote me in this messenger on Facebook. He said to me that he wanted a picture of me, and he asked me. So he have not read my CV, because there it says how old I am. I wrote down the year I was born, so he could have counted out, or else he didn't understood the year I wrote. So I told him I'm 68 years old, and so I can't get any kids anymore. But I have 2 children that I wrote him, and they don't have any partner. They are by themselves. They are single, so they are ready to give birth. So that was my commercial to sell myself. I was thinking, but maybe he have another way to think about it. But it seems like he take it serious. And I told him that it's easier for me to marry a man and come to Israel than to search for this fund. This fund to coming back to Israel. I'm going to drink a little water. it's so very hard to come to Israel with documents. But many do that from Russia. It's coming to Israel, and they have a document, so they get a flight ticket, one direction, not a return ticket. They got a flight ticket to Israel, and then they got some money and help to set up a home in Israel, and then they get money every month, but it not so much money. But if they have a home and they get free rent, they don't need to pay rent for 1 year, and they don't need to pay tax either. So if they got about $400 per month, it's okay to live on. When you don't have anything, that money is for yourself only, for the food. And so, and then in Israel there is basic health care is free, like we have here in Sweden also, and you get and they get help with all necessarily for their health, because they bring with them their old parents also, so they got most everything for free. Everything for free, and but that's when you do that way, that make you need so much more document about that you are Jewish, that descent from Jewish line, and it's very hard to get those paper if you are not like direct line Jewish direct line, so you can see it on your mother and grandmother like that, so they can see it immediately in paper. Then is it harder to explain for them to prove that you're Jewish descent, and they don't care about DNA, so I can't show them my DNA and tell them that I have 25% Jewish in me, the DNA, and both many just now I'm working on those Jewish people that was killed of the Nazi, that was burned up and was killed in those working camp Hitler had for Jewish people, and I have lots of them, and that their life stopped, and there were one family, the whole family, about 10 people, was killed, and the youngest was a girl, 12 years old, that was killed in the camp. And it's very hard to put together those family tree, because people don't want to tell and show that they are Jewish, because it's so much killing and hate, and much bad things about the Jewish people. Those people, black people, they don't see it, and they don't understand that it's very, very hard to be Jewish, almost harder than to be black. But I don't want to put some competition between hell and hell. So, but you that is from Africa descent, you have to understand that if we are descent from Jewish, that's also very much hate. And about 1 year, less than 1 year from now, we are going to have election here in Sweden. And though the political group that is, they say they are Nazis, but they have the root in Nazis. And they are going to be, maybe they are going to win. And that break out hell here in Sweden. So I think that's why they push on now, those in God's kingdom, to make me come to a better place to live, because they're gonna fix it. If they're coming in to be a leader in Sweden, this Nazi group, they will hunt everyone that is what they call not real Swedish. They're gonna hunt us. And I was flirting with a man that was in that party, and first on a dating site, and then he was my friend on Facebook, and he wrote to me and asked me, "Why are you writing in English on Facebook?" he said to me. And then he blocked me from to be his friend, only because I was speaking English. Then he wanted to kill me like that. So and ordinary people don't see it, but I can see these things will take place, and so much bad things, and so it's time for me to move to another place. And as I am a descent from Israel, Palestine, so I'm from Palestine, and so it's time for me to go back to the roots. And I think that's what those spirits that is around me, that is in my life, that they want me to go back to the basic, the roots. And I think it was in that time, before I could talk to those spirits. Someone is here now. Before I could talk to spirits, someone is on me so very much now. Before I could talk to spirits, I was to a church that we did these things. It was a real church, but the talk to spirits. And one woman, she say like she was, that she had contact with my mother. And it was in that time when I have not got my medicine that I have today. So I was very sick, and I have much pain, and I took some painkiller before I ran to the church. I was late, and then I took some shrimp salad, only some spoons, for to have something with the medicine I took. And then I ran to the church, and then the woman there, she said that she act like my mother. She act like my mother. She didn't act like she used to be. So it was like my mother took over her body, and she looked at me just like my mother looked at me when I was a child. And my mother say that it's not good for you to take shrimp salad, she say. I'd be shocked. How could she know that I just ate shrimp salad just before I left home? And she said that it was not good to eat shrimp, she said to me. And I was wondering why she say that. But it was more than one message in that, what she say. She only say that, but I understood. And it was first that my mother always was on diet. She tried to hold her slim the whole time. And she always told me to not eat greasy food, and this shrimp salad with mayo, mixed with mayo, was not good for my health, for my weight, and that was the way she was. So that I understand. But then later on I was thinking, what did she say? And she said that what the message was, that the shrimps, it's not, I didn't eat shrimps for many years after she said that, but then I understood the message, because the shrimps is the basic things for all living in the sea. So if you take away shrimps from the water, all kind of shrimps from the water, you also kill those fish that is in the water, and the small fish, the bigger fish eat and eat and eat, and it's coming up to us human also, that we don't have any fish to eat in the long run. If we take away the basic for every living, then we also kill those people. We don't have enough food to eat. And I understood this many years later, that she was talking about the foundation for living. You can't eat it up. You can't destroy it, because then everything fall apart. And this is something It's my mother that is here. She knew that I should talk about her. And that is with this, I go back to the basic, the foundation, and this is the basic, the Israel Samaritan people. They are only 700, and they are going to die away. They do everything for them to be increase in people, but when they do wrong, I told them when I was there 2016, I said that's the wrong way to do it, that they marry people, marry women and get kids with these women, then they spread out the DNA in that way that they, if you take water into juice and more and more water until it almost have disappeared everything, they must keep their DNA. And that's what God was talking to me in 2016 when I was in Jerusalem. He said to me that I should do my DNA, because it shows now that I am connected to those highest priests for the Israel Samaritan people. So I have that DNA that they should look for. They can't go and marry someone that don't have this DNA, that is not connected to those highest priests, those that was in Abraham immediately link. We are all coming from Abraham, but that have this distinct line that is connected with those highest priests. Not everyone is connected with those highest priests, and some have not DNA going down to Palestine, and I'm coming from the north Israel, from that place, and I have all those basic people that was in Aaron line and all these highest priests. So they should not say that we don't care about DNA, but DNA is very, very important. And those that have something to hide in those religions, like those Jewish people, leaders, they don't want DNA. They don't want people to make DNA. And I hear it very often. They in the church, in many churches, that say that we don't care about DNA. We only care about books. And that's books can be lying. They can write in wrong things, and they can write in things they want people to see. They can. It was not Facebook is not the first fake things that happen. There was many fake things in the church books also. And so the only truth is DNA. You can't fake DNA if you take a real DNA test. And that's what they don't do. That is what my mother was talking about, to take away the basic things. It's going to, in the long run, fail everything that you is planned for. So, and those people that is coming from other countries, they have a big group in Brazil, for example, and from other countries, and it can be a bad DNA that is placed into Israel Samaritans, and in the long run destroy them. So they need to find out if these people they married is in right DNA line. That is people from their tribes that was running away from Israel for a long time ago and now return. They must know it, but they don't do it. They only want to marry and increase people. So, but I am in the right DNA. But I can't have any children together with those men on their Holon, or where I'm coming to. So this Benyamin Tsedaka is going to help me to come to Israel. And I need to go there, because it's going to be a very bad time here. So I need to go away. I need to once again run away from bad things, like I am 100% Jewish, but I am not. But my father was blonde and blue eyes, but still in his DNA I can see he was also Jewish, but on another line than my mother's. But he is going down to Israel, to Rome Empire in Israel. So I have both parents. It's hit there. And something I wanted to talk about before the time slipping away now. It was something I was thinking on today about age in heaven. When I was in heaven, when I was allowed to go into heaven, the energy, the female energy told me that I could go into heaven. And when I go into heaven, there was people meeting me, and they were about between 40 and 50 years old that come and meet me. But that is not the age that everyone have in heaven. It's it was a reason why they were there in that age for me, to show me their heaven. But because I have, it was recently I found out this man, Larry, that I was together with in Chicago, 2001, and that it's fun to know it today that I translate Swedish paper for him, but I didn't know that we were very tight connected. We were not directly in line to each other, but very close, like aunts. My aunt's child, like that, about three generations on the side of me. It was very close, and I translate those papers that I later now have seen this paper on internet, and then it was not long ago, and then one night I had a dream, like a dream vision, that I was going into a street in a city, an empty city. But when I walk on that street, there was a man, a young man, standing and wait for me. He didn't say anything. I only look at him, and I saw, even if I have not seen any picture of Larry when he was young, I knew this is Larry, and he was so very beautiful. And later on I have seen picture of him that he was look very nice, and I knew it was he, and he was in the right age. In 2002 I was to heaven, and I was standing in the front of an archangel that have a book, and I was on my way into heaven. I was on my way to die, and I asked her to give me more time on earth. And but before I asked her to get more time on earth, she have opened up her book, and she asked every person that stood in line to go into heaven, she asked them what age they wanted to be in heaven. So that was the first time I heard it and saw it, and that's what it's going to be, that we are going, we that is coming into heaven, and we are many that coming into heaven. Only some few is going to hell. Most people come to heaven, and they are going to ask, or else they are going to tell us what age. They're going to change us to that age, because they take us to that age when we were most happy in our life here on earth. And so I was thinking about that when I was together with Richard, the man that was drunk and drugs and these things. I said to him that we see you in heaven, and if you looking for me in heaven, you should not look after me in this age. I say I was over 50 years old. I say I'm going to be 35. I say I decide me to be 35 in heaven. I say to him. But now when I sit here, it's a little disturbing because it's someone walking here. And they have like dark brown clothes on. But now, in this age, and be by myself and have no evil man in my life, and no disturbing kids or be on my own, but have a nice home and everything is quiet, and I am learning about God. For every day I learn more and more about heaven and God, and I am in my best age now at 68. So there, I have told people that it's not going to be that people will be in just what we think is perfect age, like 30 years old, or be like a child. There is old people also in heaven, because when they ask me, and they know it already because I'm talking now, that in this age, I love to be in this age. So it's dogs that are barking outside. So one time I have vision dreams again one night for more long time ago. I was up it was a staircase. I was running up in white stairs up, and it was wide stairs, about 2 meter wide stairs, and it was many steps to take, and I ran up and ran up and ran up, and I come up to the top, and suddenly I saw a man on the right side, and I knew this is my father. It's my father I met, but he didn't look like my father, that how he looked like when he lived here on earth. He looked much younger, but I knew it was he. He didn't say anything. He only smiled at me, and then it stopped everything. But then now I have seen him on pictures, and he looked like when he met my mother before they were married, when they were dating. He looked like that in the vision I saw. So that was his best time before he started to drink heavy. He maybe was drinking when he dating my mother, but not like he did later on in life. So that's what he should be, and that also make me understand how the Bible is talking about that everything stupid things we have done here on earth, it's have disappeared in heaven. So he was in that age, before he started to drink, before he did do stupid things in life, when he was still pure and pure person, before every bad things happened to him. And it was the same with Larry. He died of drinking also. And this, when I saw him in the street there, he looked so pure. Like my father, they look pure. They look like nothing bad things have happened yet for them. And that's where they take, if you are not allowed, or if you can't say where is your best time in life, when was it, and there you're gonna be in heaven, because in heaven there is no bad things going on, no memories of bad things that have happened to you. It's gonna not be any problems in heaven. So when you enter in, they will change you to an age where before everything was going down for you. That's what they're gonna be. But for me, look, I was born in an evil family, so it was before I was born, my mother wanted to do abortion, kill me in the womb. So I had never had the option to could choose. For my life have always been evil, everything in my life. But now suddenly I am coming out from the evil things in my life, and now I can relax. So this is the age somewhere here. Maybe it's going to be even better than now. But because if I get help to come to Holon, it's close to Tel Aviv. If I come in there, I will have lots of friends, for example, that I don't have now. I'm going to have people around me that care for me, like I don't have now, so it can be better. And she's coming closer now, this spirit that is here. I think she's laying a hand on me, and I don't know what she wants. She like clap. It's my mother. She clap on my head like this mother way to clap, and she say, "Don't be worried." She say, and now she say, "I'm going to take care of it." She's saying, so she's gonna help me coming back to my roots in Palestine. It's when I know more about what I have to wait for all these things to happen, that they fix paper for me and a ticket to Israel and all those things. I have to wait here. But when I have have it really in my hand. I know I'm going to move. I will teach you a little more about this group of people. That even people that live in Israel, they don't know about these Israeli Samaritan people. So I'm going to teach you a little more what I know as I have been there. I have been in Benyamin Tsedaka.I's home, and I saw how they were in the home. I'm a free person, and I'm not going to a group of people that going to lock me in. That's why God have always talking to me before I started to travel to Israel. Before that, he was talking about his little flock of people. So there is something with Israel Samaritan that God wants me to be with. And that's Israel Samaritan people, they claim that they were with Moses in the desert. And Benyamin Tsedaka, he's born in Egypt. So that makes sense, some of it. And then I also have been in a spaceship, and I have seen spaceship, and I've been abducted, and with a spaceship going to the New Jerusalem. And so that make also sense, because there were in 40 years in the desert, and you can't survive in a desert for 40 years. So I believe that a spaceship come and took them away for 40 years, and then they come back. So it will be interesting to dig in more into this group of people, see how much is truth and how much God is going to tell me about them. Maybe God will tell me more about them than what they know about themselves. It's going to be very, very interesting. And I hope now my mother come again and very strong and say, don't be worried. She's going to fix it. She say to me. In some way. Because it's her line that is going down to everything in Palestine and this Israel Samaritan group. It's fun that she was working, everything comes together. It's very interesting that she was working very much, very hard to be it's called Samaritan. In Swedish it's called Samaritan nurse. When she was walking into old people's home and take care of them, and she also took care of kids, small kids. When the police come and took the parents, she took care of the kids. She did very much work in this to take care of people, and that's maybe why she is in heaven, because she did a good job as a Samaritan nurse here in Sweden. It's very interesting. Everything comes together. Everything is connected. Like God told me in Jerusalem that in some way or another people are connected with each other. So it seems. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I have spirits that is here. Let's see if they want to talk about it. It's many coming in now. It's many. It's crowded of people, of spirits that's coming. And I think they're waving at me, and they say it seems like they wanted to show me that there are many that is doing this work, very big work. And I was thinking that now it's the end of everything, that I'm so old so nothing can happen now. And then it's the opposite. Everything starts now. I thought I should sit in this home and only wait to go home to God. I am 68 years old, on my way to 69 in December. And I was thinking, well, there is nothing more I can do as an old woman. But it's only the beginning of everything. That's fun. So thank you for... It's a spirit here. It's a spirit that is with white clothes. He wants to say something to you. He wants to say something to you that listen. It's fun because he says, don't worry about her. We are taking care of her. He tell you that listen. They think, how can she do this? How can she do it? She was old and do new things in her life. Be on her own. Going to Israel as the 68 years old. But I have ancestors that was going to United States, was going to America when they were over 60 years old. So it's in my DNA to do this. He said, okay, come on. He said to me, it's like this. He's very up in his mood. Yes, we are going. I'm going. If you push on and make a way for me to go into the kingdom, going into Israel, and now it makes sense that I have spoken about when Jesus was coming into Jerusalem on a not trained young donkey when he's coming in, and people lay palm branches, palm leaves, and they lay down their clothes for Jesus to enter in to Jerusalem, to the capital of Israel. And that's what they do to me now. They are preparing the way for me to to come to Israel. That's what he was talking about, and that's what they are talking about the whole time, without me understood it. I preach about it, but I didn't know it was about me. It was about. So, very interesting. So, thank you for have listened, and I hope you understand what I'm talking about, that you be educated of me, and that you don't get and that you don't have any fear about to die, because they will take care of you. Those people that is around me, they are people there is people around you also that listen, and they are going to bring you to heaven. They are ready to do that when it's time for you to go. So don't worry about. The only thing I'm worried about, that I'm going to have very much suffering and pain before I die. But for 2 years ago, when a car drove over me, I didn't have any pain. They took me out from my body, and I was in the spirit. I saw myself flying in the air, out under the car. I saw me. So I didn't have any pain. So that if you have do your right things, they're gonna help you to not feel any pain. They're gonna see that you don't suffering. So you have people around you, and you should not be scared if they talk to you. You should talk back to them. You don't need to talk to them with your mouth. You can talk to them inside your brain, because they hear what's you thinking and saying in your brain. So don't be worried. I am here a tool for God to tell you to don't fear. Absolutely not to die and go to heaven. That's very beautiful. So don't have any fear. You have people around you. You have people taking care of you. So thank you. God loves you, and I love you too.